Jimmy Kimmel has been a familiar face on late-night television for decades. Known for his quick wit, heartfelt interviews, and comedic timing, he has built a reputation as one of the most beloved hosts in entertainment. From Jimmy Kimmel Live to hosting the Oscars, Kimmel has entertained millions of viewers worldwide and carved out a lasting legacy in Hollywood. But behind the laughter, applause, and flashing lights, there exists a very different side to his story. Away from the cameras, Kimmel has faced a series of challenges that tested his strength as both an entertainer and a human being. For years, fans have only seen the polished, smiling version of him. But the truth reveals painful moments that shaped the man we see today. At 57, what many don't realize is that Kimmel's life has been marked by heartbreaking struggles. Personal, emotional, and deeply human. His story reminds us that even those who make us laugh often carry burdens heavier than anyone might imagine. Fame and fortune may bring recognition, but they cannot shield anyone from tragedy. Today, we take a closer look at Jimmy Kimmel's hidden battles, the ones that shaped his career, tested his resilience, and proved that behind every joke is a man who has endured more pain than most of us will ever know from a young age. Jimmy Kimmel dreamed of working in entertainment. Growing up in Brooklyn before moving to Las Vegas, he was drawn to comedy and broadcasting, heavily influenced by his idol David Letterman. His early career, however, was far from glamorous. Kimmel struggled to find his footing, bouncing between small radio jobs before finally earning his big break as a writer and host on Comedy Central. These struggles taught him persistence, but they also came with sacrifices, long hours, little pay, and an uncertain future. When Jimmy Kimmel Live premiered in 2003, critics were unsure if the show would survive. Ratings were low in the beginning, and many doubted Kimmel could compete with giants like Jay Leno and David Letterman. But Jimmy's unique mix of humor and sincerity won people over. Slowly, he built an audience, and his show became a late-night staple. Yet, behind the jokes and monologues, life off-screen brought him some of his most difficult moments. Perhaps the most heartbreaking chapter in his life came with the birth of his son, Billy, in 2017. Just hours after his birth, Billy was diagnosed with a rare congenital heart defect that required immediate surgery. For Jimmy, who had always been the man making others laugh, suddenly everything stood still. He broke down in tears on national television, sharing his family's story with the world. Viewers saw a different side of Kimmel that day, not just a comedian, but a father desperately fighting for his child's life. While Billy survived surgery and continues to receive medical care, the experience forever changed Kimmel. It made him a strong advocate for children's health care and a passionate supporter of families facing similar struggles. Still, the fear and uncertainty surrounding his son's health remain one of the most painful parts of his life. But that wasn't the only tragedy. Over the years, Jimmy has faced personal losses, health scares, and the overwhelming pressure of balancing fame with family. While audiences see a confident entertainer, he often shoulders the weight of sleepless nights, anxiety, and the constant reminder that life can change in an instant. At 57, Jimmy Kimmel stands as a man who has experienced both the highs of success and the devastating lows of heartbreak. His journey is proof that no amount of laughter can erase life's deepest pains, but it can help us heal, one smile at a time. As Jimmy Kimmel's career took off, so did the challenges of balancing public life with private struggles. To millions of viewers, he was the cheerful late-night host, always ready with a clever joke or a heartfelt story. But behind the spotlight, Kimmel often found himself grappling with the immense pressures of celebrity life. One of the most significant emotional battles for Kimmel was his son Billy's ongoing health journey. Even though the first heart surgery was a success, Billy has since undergone additional procedures, each bringing back the haunting fear of loss. For any parent, the idea of watching their child endure such hardships is agonizing. But for Kimmel, the pressure was magnified by the fact that the world was watching. His story touched millions, but it also exposed his most vulnerable moments to public scrutiny. While many praised his honesty, Kimmel also faced backlash from critics who accused him of politicizing his son's condition when he spoke about health care access. This added a layer of stress during an already devastating time, leaving Kimmel torn between his duty as a father and his role as a public figure. Beyond his son's struggles, Jimmy has spoken openly about his own health scares. He has dealt with a rare condition called narcolepsy, a chronic sleep disorder that can cause overwhelming drowsiness and sudden sleep attacks. For someone working in the high-pressure world of television, narcolepsy presents unique challenges. Long filming schedules, live broadcasts, and late-night hours often clash with the disorder, making it difficult for him to function at his best. Though he has learned to manage it, the condition remains a constant reminder of his vulnerability. Another heartbreaking reality of Kimmel's journey lies in the personal losses he has endured. Friends and colleagues in the entertainment world have passed away, some far too soon. Kimmel's emotional tribute to comedian Don Rickles after his death in 2017 revealed the depth of their friendship and the pain he felt in losing someone who had been like family. These moments remind fans that beneath the polished Hollywood image, Kimmel is just as susceptible to grief as anyone else. The pressures of his career have also taken a toll on his personal relationships. Jimmy's first marriage ended in divorce in 2002, and like many celebrities, he has spoken about the difficulties of keeping love alive in the face of relentless work schedules and media attention. Though he eventually found stability and happiness with his second wife, Molly McNerney, the path there was not without heartache. Failed relationships and the loneliness that sometimes comes with fame added to the emotional weight he carried. Perhaps the most painful part of Kimmel's journey is how his tragedies have been magnified by the nature of his career. Unlike most people who can process their grief in private, Kimmel has often had to do so in public with millions watching. His emotional monologues, whether about his son's health, gun violence, or personal loss, show a man torn between duty and despair, trying to remain strong for his audience while quietly breaking inside. Jimmy Kimmel's story is more than one of fame. It's one of resilience. His tragedies have shaped him into a man who understands the fragility of life, yet still chooses to make others smile. But as his fans cheer, laugh, and applaud, the weight of those private battles remains heavy, a constant reminder that even the brightest stars carry shadows. By the time Jimmy Kimmel reached the height of his career, he had built a reputation not only as a comedian, but as someone unafraid to mix humor with raw honesty. His ability to speak from the heart set him apart from other late-night hosts, but that very honesty often opened him to new waves of struggle. While his fans saw sincerity, his critics often saw controversy. One of the most difficult aspects of Kimmel's career has been navigating the backlash that comes with being a public figure. Over the years, he has been targeted by political opponents, media outlets, and even sections of his own audience who disagreed with his views. When Kimmel spoke emotionally about his son's battle with congenital heart disease, urging the government to strengthen healthcare protections, some accused him of overstepping his role as a comedian. For a father who was simply pleading for his child's life, and the lives of others, the criticism cut deep. The weight of being both a parent in crisis and a celebrity under fire took a toll on his emotional well-being. But the criticism wasn't limited to politics. Like many comedians, Kimmel faced public scrutiny for jokes from his past. In the age of social media, old sketches and comments resurfaced, sparking outrage and calls for accountability. While he acknowledged mistakes and issued apologies, the controversy painted him in a harsh light for some time. For a man whose career relied on humor and likability, these moments became personal battles for redemption. Kimmel had to learn to balance the pain of regret with the determination to grow and move forward. Beyond the public storms, Jimmy also wrestled with the immense pressures of his profession. Hosting a nightly show is an exhausting task, demanding energy, creativity, and charisma every single day. For Kimmel, who has dealt with narcolepsy and other health challenges, this schedule often pushed him to the limit. The physical exhaustion was real, but so was the emotional fatigue. There were days when smiling for the camera felt nearly impossible. Yet he pushed through, hiding his pain behind jokes and monologues. His family life has remained his anchor through much of this turmoil. But even there, the road has not been smooth. Raising a child with ongoing medical needs requires constant attention, and though he and his wife Molly remain devoted parents, the fear of another health crisis is never far away. Every milestone Billy achieves is celebrated with gratitude, but also with lingering anxiety. Kimmel himself has admitted that he often struggles to fully relax, knowing how quickly circumstances can change. Despite these hardships, Jimmy has used his platform to transform personal pain into public advocacy. He has raised awareness for children's hospitals, supported research for congenital heart defects, and given families facing medical crises a voice on national television. While his tragedies brought him to his knees at times, they also gave him a sense of purpose beyond entertainment. Still, it's important to recognize that this advocacy, while inspiring, came from a place of heartbreak, a heartbreak that never fully disappears. At 57, Jimmy Kimmel stands as a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. His career shines with success, but his personal journey is marked by scars that fame cannot erase. The tragedies he has endured, health battles, personal losses, and the sting of public criticism have left a deep imprint on his life. And while he continues to make millions laugh, there is an unspoken truth behind every smile, the reminder that even those who bring joy to others often carry the heaviest burdens themselves. As Jimmy Kimmel reflects on his life and career at 57, his story reveals more than just the evolution of a comedian. It's the portrait of a man shaped by resilience, heartbreak, and a deep understanding of what truly matters. For all the laughter he has brought into the world, the tragedies he has endured have carved out a quieter, more vulnerable side of him that fans rarely see. One of the most striking aspects of Kimmel's journey is how he has managed to transform personal pain into compassion for others. When his son Billy was first diagnosed with a congenital heart defect, Kimmel could have retreated into silence, choosing to keep his family's struggle private. Instead, he opened himself up to the world, sharing the most vulnerable chapter of his life on national television. That moment was more than just a monologue. It was a cry for awareness, empathy, and change. It reminded people that behind the glamour of Hollywood, even the most successful celebrities face the same fears and heartbreaks as everyone else. But Kimmel's tragedies didn't just stop at personal and family struggles. The very platform that gave him success also exposed him to relentless criticism and controversy. In many ways, this duality has defined his career, beloved by millions for his humor and honesty, yet frequently attacked by those who disagreed with his views or dug into his past mistakes. Living under the constant microscope of fame is a tragedy in its own right, one that wears down even the strongest of individuals. And yet Kimmel has stood tall, embracing growth and refusing to let criticism erase the positive impact he has made. Perhaps the most heartbreaking realization for Kimmel, and for those who follow his journey, is that laughter has often been his shield. On screen he smiles, cracks jokes, and hosts some of the biggest names in entertainment. Off-screen he has carried the weight of sleepless nights, anxiety, and the constant fear of losing what he treasures most, his family. This dual life, one of joy and one of silent struggle, speaks to the reality of many in the public eye. Behind the curtain of fame, there is always a human story filled with pain, love, and vulnerability. At 57, Kimmel's tragedies have also given him a rare gift: perspective. Unlike in his early years, when career success was everything, his focus now rests squarely on his loved ones. Every milestone his son reaches, every family moment he treasures, becomes more valuable than any award or standing ovation. He has learned through heartbreak that the applause fades, but the bonds of family remain. In the end, Jimmy Kimmel's life is both inspiring and heartbreaking. Inspiring because he has turned his struggles into advocacy, humor, and hope for others. Heartbreaking because his journey reminds us that even those who seem to have it all are not immune to suffering. His story is a sobering reminder that tragedy and triumph often walk hand in hand. As fans continue to laugh at his jokes and tune into his shows, few may ever fully grasp the depth of pain that shaped the man behind the microphone. But those who know his story will understand. Jimmy Kimmel's greatest tragedy has been living in a world where fame and heartbreak collide, forcing him to carry burdens far heavier than most will ever see, and yet, through it all, he remains standing, a man who turned pain into purpose, tragedy into truth, and heartbreak into hope.